And welcome to another edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Like I said to the guys beforehand, man, tuning in from Canada this weekend, man, or this week, man. So can't complain. It ain't much warmer here than it is in Chicago. So hey, man, I'll take it. But we got some good NBA, man. It's been fun trying to watch these games. Still on Central Time, so I'm not struggling like these East Coast boys that I'm with here today. So it's a painful one usually.
Yeah, man, dude. Not gonna lie, the weather's actually fine in New York, man. It was 76 yesterday, man. It's like 68 right now. The weather is real fine, man. Wore my t-shirt back from the office today. I just took off my sweater, man. No sweater needed, man.
Mm-mm.
T-shirt only. T-shirt only. So
Summers are
can't complain
coming.
right now. Can't complain right now.
Well, I'll just round that out by the old southern 93 degrees I got today. I
Man,
know a lot of
relax.
people are envious of that weather, but come about 2 weeks from now when it's probably Memorial Day weekend, it's probably going to be in the hundreds, so it's not going to be envious. But looking at the playoffs, like people said, it's been some exciting games. Like I always say, it's my, you know, ode to what I always talk about on the podcast, with it feeling like it's been months in between us recording. But a lot of things have happened in the Eastern Conference, and that's why I wanted to start, with the Heat and Knicks and Boston and Philly. It's been some surprising developments, and I guess P. Bush, I'm gonna start with you. What is your
Ah,
biggest takeaway so far for the playoffs?
I'm gonna follow Stephen A's suit right here, man. You know who he's been
Oh
crapping on
God,
lately? It's too easy to do it, man. But Julius
Julius
Randle,
Randle.
and
yeah,
you
man.
look at you look at last night's game. I mean, he shot 8 for 13. I mean, that's like probably one of his most efficient playoff games in a long time. But he takes too many 3 pointers. I think I want to say maybe 3 out of his 5 total misses were from three, but 6 turnovers, man, in Game 4. I mean, this series, this Heat Knicks series, has been the definition of who can make the least amount of mistakes, and it's been a very minute difference between the two teams. Who can out rebound a little bit more, who can force more turnovers, maybe hit a couple extra threes on a more efficient basis. Fouling's been a big thing. We always know Jimmy loves to get to the line. Brunson was able to get to the line a decent amount last night in Game 4, but this Heat team, man, they just find a way. I don't think we can give Bam Adebayo too much flack anymore, man. He's had some nice games the past
Scoring
couple.
more.
He's scoring more. He's putting up nice, 20 and 12 type, games, and that's really what they need. And then you just kind of get the Max Struces, the Cody Martins, and your boy Zoo, your favorite. I'm going to keep mentioning them. Kyle Lowry giving a nice little 15 off the bench, man. That's literally all they
Yeah.
need him to do. So, look, man, I told the guys about this. I placed a bet on the Miami Heat future to come out of the East at a plus 2,200. So I'm just hoping to God maybe it happens. And I don't want to say that the Celtics and Sixers haven't impressed me because they both had decent games. Maybe a little bit more inconsistent with a 2-2 series. But I think the Heat have a legit shot against both of those teams. So, I always enjoy watching Jimmy. We know what he's going to do. But it's really been the role players that have really stepped up. And, a lot of these undrafted guys, man, they're just hitting big shots, making big plays, and they're always tenacious on the defensive end, as are the Knicks. And I think that's kind of what we expected. So it's just been a tough one to watch as a New York Knicks fan. I'm sure that they're frustrated as hell, man. Jimmy Butler does not regret not coming to the Knicks, man. Let's just put it that way. He's happy down there in South Beach.
Man. All I gotta say is Jimmy's attitude, man. I don't know if you guys saw clips of Jimmy Butler on the bench, just goofing off, man. That dude's just dancing on the bench. He's going Harlem Globetrotter, spinning the basketball. Even the game when he missed because of his ankle injury, he was just laughing on the bench because he's watching this roster. And he's like, man, my backup squad almost beat this Knicks team. If you remember that game, with the game that Jimmy missed,
Yeah.
that was a tight game until at
Yeah.
the end the Knicks separated a little and Kyle Lowry couldn't finish the deal with Bam. But Jimmy was watching. It's like, okay, he's dissecting this roster. This team ain't it,
He
man.
knew it was over.
Yeah, he look at that roster. It's a cute story, man. I didn't think the cute story was going to make it past the first round, but that was a huge mistake because I believed in the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the lights were a little too bright and they shone like a little bunch of little girls. But dang, the Knicks' talent is just not that impressive, man. First of all, as you mentioned, Julius Randle, man, him having bad games, that's just not a new story. It's just not a new story, man. Like that one game where he shot 4 for 15, that blowout game, that was a terrible game. That was 4 for 15. At least got 14 rebounds. But you cannot score 4 for 15 where you average 25 points in the regular season.
Yep.
That's the definition of regression again. Like, obviously, Julius Randle in the first series against the Cavaliers, he was averaging 14 points. He's getting carried by the rest of his roster, aka Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett had some really, really good series. Yep. But, like, Julius Randle was supposed to be their perennial guy, the go-to guy outside of Brunson, and he's just not been it, man. Like, him shooting 43%, it's actually pretty good for this dude. Like, based on the Julius Randle benchmark in the playoffs, this dude
32%, man.
Yeah, legit. Like, he is god awful. Something about when the lights get brightest, man. Like, this dude, like, as people say, man, there's 82 game players. That's what Randle is, and there's 16 game players. And Julius Randle ain't a 16 game player, man. His weaknesses, man, obviously uses his left hand, man, pretty predictable. He loves chucking his long step back jump shots, even though he's not that great of a jump shooter. So Julius Randle has been absolutely atrocious, and obviously the offensive firepower, man. Even though the Miami Heat offense, I don't think it's that great of an offense. It's just a lot of Jimmy Butler dominating the basketball and kicking out to the snipers.
Shooters.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then bam.
I got to shout out to Kevin Love, who has made a
resurgence.
Because I could just imagine the Cleveland Cavaliers cut this dude. You're probably watching right now. Oh, God, we paid this guy $30 million. And we're like, bye-bye, we don't need your services, man. They could have used the Kevin Love.
They have too many big men, which is the only argument.
That's the thing, but he could stretch the defense.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that like Kevin Love could do. Like, I don't know if you guys saw this play. When in one play, it was Cody Zeller setting like a screen and roll. And then like legit, like the guys just don't even look at Cody Zeller. No. And then you see Harris shot. Kevin Love, get up. We're putting you in because you got to respect Kevin Love's 3-point shot. Like, his spacing ability is really got to really respect him as a stretch forward. And his outlet passing. Every time I watch a Miami Heat game, I see at least one. You get the rebound, boom, to like a Jimmy Butler for pretty much it's like Rodgers to like Devontae Adams for a touchdown. Because I see that consistently. Like for a team that struggles offensively, those easy fast break points, man, is absolutely huge. So I got to shout out to Kevin Love, who is obviously he's out of his prime. He's not an all-star caliber player, but he's starting and he's pretty impactful. He's also taking a lot of charges too. So he's like. Obviously, he ain't protecting the rim, but he's like protecting he's like doing good defensive rotation. So Kevin Love is balling, and the guy
good team defense.
Exactly.
Dude, you know who he is though? He's like Al Horford to the Celtics, man. I just wanted to say that he's kind of that guy.
I don't know about that. Al Horford stuff.
I'm just saying he's a better. Obviously, Horford's a better 3-point shooter, but similar. Like they need him for that same exact reason, though.
Yeah. So like I got to shout out Kevin Love, and the guy I always love hating on Kyle Lowry. He's playing his role. Kyle Lowry is really good 3-point shooter. He is a really, really good 3-point shooter. He's 5% this series, man. And a lot of it's just like he dribble, boom, jack it up. Like every time he shoots the basketball, man, it's with confidence. So I got to give a lot of props to Kyle Lowry, secondary ball handler and shooting threes. So Kyle Lowry, obviously $30 million. That's just blasphemy. Like if he was making $10 million, I hate on him a little less. But he's in that like off the bench 6-man type of role, controlling the offense and being that type of player. And he's been shooting the heck out of the basketball. And as you mentioned, the undraftees, man. The Max Struces, the Martins of the world, the Gabe Vinces, even though he's very streaky. Like, those guys shoot the ball with confidence. And, like, this run by Jimmy Butler with shooters, like, this is what I call, like, a LeBron Cleveland run when LeBron didn't have Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love. Like, this is, like, one of those types. Because, like,
might be a worse.
Yeah, because, like, offensively, they got very one-dimensional basketball players. A lot of just catch-and-shoot guys. Obviously, Duncan Robinson's in the lineup more. A lot of catch-and-shoot guys. Not many guys driving. Bam Adebayo is still a very limited offensive player, even though he's averaging a little more points this series. So, on offense, it is very heavy Jimmy Butler dominating the basketball and letting that dude make decisions. And last game, I believe he got, like double-digit assists. So, like, Jimmy Butler's not only dominating the game, controlling the pace, but he's getting, he got 10 dimes. He's doing it all, man. Like, you could make an argument that Jimmy Butler is the best player so far in the Eastern Conference right now.
I think, probably.
I think that's a legitimate argument. And it'll be hard to go against it based on statistics and based on expectations of his team. And he's just, this guy, like, unbelievable. This is an unbelievable playoff.
Jimmy definitely is cementing himself as the number one guy. He's
superstar.
He's just super consistent. his mentality is perfect for Miami and their heat culture, even though I know a lot of people like to make fun of that, but it is a thing because to me, it just seems like if you're able to consistently be good in the playoffs and you've won championships before, you've passed, heat culture then becomes a thing. It's just not a funny cliche to say.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, I'm with you with the Randall. And I can't even really give him because I watched a little bit of the highlights. I didn't really watch the game, but I can't even really give him the ankle excuse because there were certain plays where he was like getting to the basket and showing burst on offense. So it's like, is it just the effort? Is it just you're just done with the team, the season, what's going on? Like it just looked very peculiar with how he was playing. It almost kind of looked like he was trying to throw the game. He just didn't look engaged. He only looked engaged when he was trying to score the ball, which you can say that about a lot of players, but he just looked like he was just out of
Klay
it.
Thompson.
And, yeah, definitely gonna get to that. But, for it be a Thibodeau coach team and his effort to be that way, that's why during the whole Brunson saga when he was willing the Knicks to the playoffs, my thing was always if Brunson is the leader and he's doing what he's supposed to do, I think they have a chance. But anytime Julius tries to seize that momentum of being the leader, it's you get what you get right in Game 5, or Game 4. So fast forwarding to the 76ers and the Celtics, I can start that off. It still remains the same with the Celtics. They can't close games. And I kind of respect the coach giving them just off this fact of he gives them a chance to just go make a play. He doesn't. Now, part of it may be because he's just not a good coach and he doesn't want to put himself up in a position to draw up a real play.
Yeah.
But I don't hold him as accountable for that last play in
That
Philly.
last play was disastrous.
I feel like that's on Tatum. I felt like if in the game before or whatever game it was, I think game 2, whenever it was, and Marcus Smart had the ball and was trying to hand it off and he screwed up and the play didn't work and they lost. I feel like if you saw that and you experienced that, you should then know, okay, if we got the ball and it's tied up or we're down one, whatever, I need to just either go get a shot or I need to create a shot for maybe Jaylen Brown, that's my co-star. But that should be the only two options. It should not be a dribble, go underneath the basket, leave your feet, I know the shot is open. And I know he's an NBA player, but I just don't think I'm super confident if Marcus Smart is taking a contested 3, wide open 3, whatever type of 3 it is. I don't want him shooting that. I don't care if he's an NBA player or not. I would rather be seeing Jason Tatum get to the rim or Jaylen Brown get to the rim. And here's another thing that I've been noticing, and this has been since last year, even though they got to the finals. Depending on how this year happens with Jason Tatum and Jaylen, I really do think that Jason Tatum is holding Jaylen Brown back.
Yep.
I think he is.
In the playoffs.
Especially, yes. I think he is. Like Jaylen Brown not taking shots in overtime. Jaylen Brown kind of like he's in the corner, like just chilling. And you got action with Marcus Smart and like Marcus Smart, and I hate to keep picking on him, but he should not even be in the thought process of being anywhere around the last play. So for me, I don't understand why, and maybe it's really difficult because Tatum and Brown, like it's hard when you probably look at each other as peers, and the perceived guy is Jason Tatum. He's the guy that's the number one option. He's the guy that everybody in Boston buys the jerseys for. He's probably the number one selling jersey in Boston. Like I get it, but it just seems like Jaylen Brown has more of a gear. I'll put it this way: I think their gears are equal. I don't think there's this like clear difference of Tatum, Brown. Like I think it's very clear, and I also think Brown needs to leave and become an alpha. You know what I think would be a perfect situation for him? Somewhere like Atlanta. Like Trey's an alpha, but I think if Jaylen Brown went there and he was the guy, he would be the alpha of that team, and Trey would be his co-star because I think he has the ability to be a number one guy.
Man,
he does have the ability to be a number one guy. I agree.
He has. I think the only thing Tatum does
not in Atlanta.
That's it.
Atlanta, man. Ice Trey dominates the basketball way too much.
Yeah,
I mean, he would have. But see, he needs to learn how to not dominate the basketball if he wants to win.
Than Jason Tatum. He's more.
The fit might not be perfect, but a situation because I don't want to put him in like a Utah where he's just the only. Because I don't think he could be the only guy. I'm just thinking of places where he could have a legitimate co-star, and that's just the first thing that popped in my head. I don't think Jaylen Brown could be the number one option for the Utah Jazz because that's a lot of pressure. But like he needs another star, but like a star that would be willing, and I guess Trey wouldn't be willing to give the ball up. But Jaylen Brown, my whole point is he can go, and he needs to have the ball more. Go ahead.
I think he's the more efficient player. I think he's the better decision maker. I'm not saying, and I've said this since last year, it's not that Tatum's a bad player. I don't think he's overrated. I don't think that's a fair sentiment to put on him. No. Mm-mm. But I do think that Jaylen Brown is on the same level and giving him more credit is, I think, the better path than people give him. I think because he's behind Tatum's shadow, and he had the whole Kobe thing last year and kind of being the number one guy, and it was all about Tatum and
the armband,
the armband, all the headband, all that stuff, man. And I don't blame him for that. Kobe's an idol. He's passed away, right? You want to try and emulate him as a top player in the league. But Jaylen Brown, man, he's a dog, and I think he doesn't settle for a jump shot as much as Tatum does, and I think that's also a different.
Tatum does a lot of step back threes, bro.
A lot of step back threes.
Jaylen Brown shoots a lot of pull up jump shots.
Yeah, but he's also knows when it's time to I need to see the ball go in, and he'll just drive at you.
More.
He's a bit more like, I'm not saying he is Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler's aggressive in that sense. Like, I'm just going to see the ball go in. Maybe it'll start getting my jump shot going. Obviously, Jaylen Brown's a much better jump shooter, but I think that he respects his own ability to get to the rim. So I don't agree with maybe the Atlanta pick, Sean. I know it was kind of just right off the top, but I do think maybe potentially he could be a great guy that could fit in the Miami Heat organization the next couple of years if Jimmy Butler gets up in age, and maybe they bring someone else down into Miami. That could be a solid decision.
Tyler Hero for Jaylen Brown, who says no.
I mean, that's what I'm doing.
If I'm Miami, I hope Boston really hears me out.
Yeah, but we're harping a lot on the Celtics here. I think we got to give the Sixers a decent amount of credit here.
Yeah.
I mean, James Harden, he's had two great games and two bad games.
James Harden is the most bipolar NBA player I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's the Kanye West of the NBA, man.
Dude, he actually is, man. Because when he's balling, those are two historic performances. Those are probably two of the best playoff games that James Harden has ever played. And the other two were two of the worst games I've seen in my entire life. Like, legit, like, in Game 3, it looked like he was scared to shoot the basketball. Like, he legitimately looked scared. Every single shot was short. None of his jump shots were shot with confidence. Like, he just looks like a confidence guy, because when he hits his, first couple of shots, Harden's going to have a good game when his jump shot's going, hitting his mid-range, taking a step back threes. But his two other games when his jump shot wasn't going in, dude's not that good at in the paint. Like, he was extremely off, and when he was off, the 76ers had no chance. They had no chance at all. Like, those games weren't even competitive. So I'm like, James Harden's the key to the series, and Harden right now, it's his tray ball, man. Like, when he gets his tray ball going, that's when he starts cooking. Because Harden he's just a three-point shooter. Like, his in-between game is just not really there anymore. No. Like, his burst to the rim, I saw the stat, James Harden hasn't dunked the basketball in a freaking year. Like, he's just not explosive
you're not wrong.
at all. Like, I used to Houston Harden used to be banging on people in the rim, but he's just not that athlete anymore. So he has to rely more on a finesse game, I remember last week we compared it like a D'Angelo Russell, man, but he's just way better than D'Lo. But it's a very finesse game. If he has the jump shot going, he's feeling it, man. He's feeling it. And I got to give props to Harden because last game I thought Celtics were going to clutch. I remember Smart hit a three, and I'm like, oh, man, Celtics are back in control. But then Harden's ability, because Joel Embiid, we're talking, man, he got shut down in the fourth quarter. Al Horford, I call him the kryptonite because he
blocked his shot.
He blocked 3 times, man. Joel was double thinking his moves. He got nervous. He was double thinking his moves. And you saw PJ Tucker, he had an awesome and one. And he got an MVP. They started yelling at him. So I'm like, get your shit together, man. You're the MVP, and you're letting Al Horford, that old man, getting in your head, and you're the MVP. Stop that, man. So he got in his head, man. And Harden was able to bail out. Embiid's overall numbers are 30-11, pretty nice. But that fourth quarter was
a lot of free throws.
Yeah, that fourth quarter was an atrocious performance, and Harden with that floater in the lane to tie the game up, that was extremely clutch. That was so clutch. He got the switch, And he's just like, I'm gonna go one-on-one because like he didn't really trust Embiid in that situation because like mentally he was not in it. And obviously, great pass by Embiid in overtime. Jaylen Brown with a dumb double team. That was just dumb. I'm sorry. Like Harden is cooking and you're leaving that dude wide open, and he like
because they were only up.
They were up 2. So if you give up a shot, you still have one possession to hit a shot and win the game, or you go into overtime. But you give a guy who's having a good game. Maybe you leave a guy that's open and he's like 0 for 5 from 3. Okay, you leave him open. Let's take our chances. But you leave a guy that was cooking, that had 39 points, and you leave that guy wide open. Jaylen Brown had a brain fart. Had a massive.
He was looking too much into analytics, man.
So I'm like, that was a
That's what it was. He didn't look at the game
play.
analytics.
And after that, obviously, that last possession, they didn't even get a shot off in time. Like, I don't know why they were waiting so long. Like, first of all, you're down. First of all, you're down. So I would have tried to like go quick. And if you go quick, you miss the shot, you can foul. 2 shots, free throws, boom, you can still hit a 3.
Wait, who had the ball in that possession?
Tatum.
Yeah, it was Tatum. Yeah.
Tatum. He went late. He drove late.
I wonder.
Like
because he thought he was going to hit a step back 3.
Yeah, I don't know. He drove
exactly. Because he hit one earlier in
he
regulation.
Passed the ball with
which is a push
1.4 seconds left. Like Marcus Smart had no chance to. Like he hit the shot. Like props to Smart for hitting the shot. But if he passed the ball with an additional second, they would be up 3-1. But now this series, man, 2-2, man. Celtics, show a little.
And right now,
a little.
And they're down right now. They're down
14 currently at home to this Philly. So Philly has gotten momentum after that clutch win because if they were down 3-1, it's over. I'm sorry, it would have been over. Like Celtics blowing 3-1 lead out.
They would have probably blown them out tonight.
But man, Harden has had 2 game winners, 3-point game winners in these playoff series. So I got to give Harden for a lot of props for having the mental fortitude from bouncing back from 2 atrocious performances. So I got to give.
You know what, too, with Harden, there was a little bit of a narrative about him like fading in the playoffs. I think this series, win, lose, or draw, it's kind of at least helped it. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but it's helped that reputation because back in Houston, he kind of had built up a little bit of James Harden phase in the playoffs, especially at the end of the series and like where it gets to game 5, 6, and 7. He's not been the greatest, but this series has really opened up 2 things in my mind with James Harden really quick. His ability to bounce back and make big shots. And it's going to make it really tough for Philadelphia to see what they're going to do with them in the offseason. Because if they somehow do pull off this series,
man,
you're going to have to pay them.
Someone's getting paid, man. Someone's getting paid.
Just in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time.
Because it's
if they make it to the NBA Finals, I'm giving Harden the max.
You got to. You have to.
If you
want to do it, but you're going to have to.
Give him the max. Like
you got to, which is
Philly. When was the last time Philly came even sniffing the finals?
It was like Dr. J.
AI, which was what?
AI.
Okay, fair.
Early 2000s.
Got gentlemen.
But that was eons ago. Yeah, eons ago.
Legit, 2 decades ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
over 2 decades.
Because Harden, even with the 2 bad games, with those 2 historical performances, Harden's averaging 29, 8 and 6 on 47% shooting from the field and 42% from 3. Those are unbelievable playoff numbers against a really good Boston team. So, even with the 2 absolute tragedies, like he's bouncing back, man. Like I said, man, in the NBA Plus in the 7-game series, you need 4 great games. You just need 4 wins. That's all you need. If you have a bad game, have a bad game, move on. Like you see the series, there's some lopsided games. It's okay to have lopsided games. You got to bounce back. That's the thing. You just got to have the mental fortitude to bounce back.
And this game right now is huge because they're winning right now. Obviously, it's a long game, but this is in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they go up 3-2, they're going home.
Oh, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. If they get this done, man, my conference final future, baby. Let's go, Philly. I lost a little faith.
Jimmy Butler, man.
Oh, I know. I'm nervous. I'm not going to write them over, but them making it in, I'll be happy about that because I faded Boston this entire season. I'm like, Boston Celtics going back-to-back to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, no chance.
I believe you have to be an elite team to go back-to-back. And I don't believe Boston is an elite team. They're a really good team, but elites, I don't believe that.
I'm a segue to Sean. Another team that's struggling to get back? Golden State Warriors, man. Oh, it's just brutal to watch.
Talk about fading down the stretch.
Yeah, man. I was and I think a lot of flack on last night's game was obviously at Klay Thompson. I mean, he was just atrocious from
He
three.
had some really bad games.
Horrible. I mean, you see that one where Steve Kerr just like threw his hands up in the air?
You talking about the 3-pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where he shot that.
Yeah, oh my God, he has no conscience.
Too much hero ball from Klay.
Yeah.
But let's be honest here. If we look at the stats, I mean, I'm not saying that Curry had a bad game. He put up a triple-double. Can't blame him there. He was pretty much doing everything.
He was unreal.
He still shot 12 for 30, Zoo, and 3 for 14 from three-point line.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't mind the shot attempts.
Sure, but he needs to be making more.
If you look at the roster right now, they're rocking. They made the starter switch with Gary Payton, who's just there as a defender, as a rebounder, as a hustler guy.
He had a good game.
He actually had a good game. 15 points as a starter. Like, he had a really good game. So they went with complete small ball lineup.
Yeah.
And then you got Gary Payton, Klay Thompson. We were talking about. He was completely off.
Yep.
Andrew Wiggins, he had an okay game. Draymond Green, that dude does not score the basketball at all. So Steph Curry has to carry the offense.
He does.
So
but
I don't mind him shooting like that many attempts. Like him running high pick and roll, I'm good with that. But
he needs to make more than 3 out of 14. Man.
Yeah,
if you want
to 5, they win the game.
He got outplayed by Lonnie Walker in the fourth quarter.
Okay, no. Lonnie Walker outplayed LeBron and AD in the clutch.
He outplayed everybody.
He was the go-to guy. Yeah. They were like Lonnie Walker, LeBron, high pick and roll, baby. Get Lonnie Walker open jumper. That dude shot with confidence, man. Yeah. I was like, that dude didn't even play the first 2 games. I feel like he was.
Has he played in the playoffs?
He hadn't played really. They were saying since the trade deadline, like once they got Beasley and all those guys, Russell and Vanderbilt, he kind of got relegated to the end of. Yeah, and Reeves ascended. He kind of got relegated to the end of the bench. Yeah,
but they needed a spark. They were stone cold, man. There towards the fourth quarter, and look, he almost outscored the entire Warriors team. I mean, 15-17 total.
Yeah. That's actually crazy. He had 15 points in the fourth. I didn't think he only missed 1 shot.
Yeah, and I mean, look, that I think it might have been one of the last plays. You know, I'm not saying it was a bonehead play, but I mean, you know, that jump ball, Wiggins gave his all and actually won that tip against AD. Mm-hmm. And then Curry fell, and he just he was expecting to get tied up, and
he could have called timeout. I believe they had a time. I believe they had a timeout.
Did too.
Yeah, but
he panicked in the moment. I don't think he trusted anybody else on the floor to be making a 3-point shot to tie that game. And I mean, I think we got to start having a serious conversation about Jordan Poole because that man he put up 0 points.
Oh my goodness,
0.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what they need to do, man. But you know, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do need to say this on the podcast because we're all about the fun scripts in the NBA here. What would be more poetic than Curry doing to LeBron what LeBron did to him in this series?
3-1 comeback.
That would just be.
They are
probably talking about that in the locker room.
100%.
Yeah,
because a lot of the Warriors, it's the same team. You know, I mean, especially now that obviously that wasn't.
Well, I think Curry's talking about it, or not Curry. I think Klay and him are talking about it, but yeah,
Clay's just talking so people forget about his performance. From
that's exactly what I was about to say. I think he's saying that because they want, or he wants people to forget how he's been playing in this series. Klay has been more so like the hero ball with those 2 shots that were just I don't know if that was he just trying to match Curry or he just was trying to take. Kill shots, which I kind of understand because you're trying to just put the Lakers out of their misery. But I think this just speaks to the Lakers' depth. Like, they just have a deeper team, and they have a coach in Darvin Ham who deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah.
When it comes to the playoffs, a lot of coaches just get stuck in their rotations. Like, look, whoever got me here is going to just bring me home. And he's just like, nah, if you ain't got it tonight, you're sitting. So, Rui, if you got it one night, Russell, if you got it one night, Austin, if you got, he starts, but Austin, Lonnie. You got whoever. Like Lonnie, for instance, he doesn't care. Like, he just if you got the hot hand and you make a couple shots, you're going to stay in. And if you're giving effort on the defensive end, and I think that's one of the things why Lonnie wasn't playing as much because Troy Brown Jr. was getting more minutes. But I think that was because Troy Brown Jr. plays defense. And I think that's one of the biggest staples for the Lakers.
If you watch Troy Brown Jr. this series, he has
this series hasn't been good.
He has an extremely hard time keeping up with Klay Thompson, running around screens. Klay Thompson's got good looks. So that's why Troy Brown Jr. My thoughts about that dude shooting the basketball. I don't think he's that good of a shooter, even though all his shots are wide open. And he has a hard time guarding. He's running around with he's a good on ball.
In fairness, a lot of people have trouble guarding Curry. Who's shutting him down? Even Vanderbilt, who's supposed to be the stopper.
I don't know. Vanderbilt has done a terrific job.
Yeah.
He's done the best out of all the guys.
I think
yes.
he's done a phenomenal job.
He's done the best out of all the guys.
He's doing the Iguodala against LeBron in the finals, man. That's what he's doing. He's containing to the level.
Even though he's a zero on offense, like that dude absolutely sucks on offense.
All you can do is the corner three. It's like PJ Tucker, but at a higher level. PJ Tucker's the corner three guy. Yeah.
I know. No,
yeah.
He's the corner three guy. But
Shane Battier.
Steve Kerr's like, yeah. You keep shooting that Vanderbilt. We'll take those odds, man.
Well, yeah, you got to give me Vanderbilt.
Sub 30%, man. That was a great point. Like Darvin Ham goes with the hot hand. Like obviously you got AD and LeBron as the cornerstone guys playing 40+ minutes. It's probably Austin Reeves probably the most like consistent player after that. But everybody after that, like Vanderbilt, like D'Angelo Russell, even though they start, they're more like whoever's doing good. Like obviously, like Schroeder had a great game and Lonnie Walker balled out.
He's another guy.
So, like, obviously, Rui Hachimura has had a great playoff series, but this game he didn't really have it. He didn't take that many shots, so he didn't play that much. So, obviously, man, it's crazy to say Austin Reeves part of the cornerstone, but the three cornerstone guys, and then it's like whoever's like hitting 3-point shots, and it's like balling on defense and impacting the game because, like, Jesus Christ, like Austin Reeves as a ball handler could like LeBron James this series. If you watch it, like I watch him like specifically because I see his over-unders, man. LeBron James offensively has not had a good series.
No, he's what did he shoot last
night? His jump shot is still off.
25?
He's like 10 for 24 or 5.
He can't hit a 3. His jump shot is very, very shaky. Like usually the mid-range that he hits, like he's not hitting them. Like the only way this dude scores is getting in the paint and scoring layups. And he's still missing bunnies. I see a couple times he missed some bunnies. He did his free throws, but he's missing some bunnies at the lane right now. So like LeBron offensively is just not scary right now. Like AD is probably their best offensive player right now as a go-to option, which is like crazy to say because usually I imagine LeBron flip a switch in the playoffs because right now I've not been impressed with LeBron James offensively as a scorer. Defensively, he's like when he tries, he's been playing really terrific defense. But offensively, even dominating the ball and creating for his team, I have not been impressed with LeBron. But he's not 41 right now because he's trusting his teammates.
This is AD's chance to win his finals MVP. Not saying the Lakers are going to win it all, but if they were to, and it would be AD's, unless Austin Reeves just goes God and averages 30 in the finals.
That would be criminal if Austin Reeves. Yeah, that would. You want to talk about AD being in a dark place? If Austin Reeves got a finals MVP over AD, like that Austin Reeves probably would have to average 30. Because even if AD averaged like 22, they're still going to give it to AD.
But Reeves is a third option, can give you 22 a game. I think he had 21 last night, something like that. And that's with Lonnie Walker and Dennis Schroeder having the games that they did at a very similar position, right? So, man, this team is deep. I think the issue for me, though, when it comes to, we've seen depth have positives and negatives in this playoffs. I don't know. Do we want to transition to the Suns already? This is just. I wanted to get one. I just wanted to get one thing in about AD. For sure.
Salute for him for shutting down Steph on that last possession 2 times. I have been in the AD hive, and I've been proven wrong a lot because he's not been healthy. But I still stand on the hill. Him and Giannis are the best two-way big men in the league. When it comes to defense and offense, nobody can touch them. As complete big men, respect to Embiid, respect to Jokic. But when it comes to both sides of the ball, they are the most dominant. And it sucks that AD's not healthy because you see the genius. Like what 6'11", 6'10" guy can go out, switch on Steph Curry, and get him to take 2 bad shots. Respect to Jokic.
Not gonna lie. Steph Curry, that
was crazy.
That play with the switch of AD on Steph Curry. It gave me flashbacks when
Kevin Love,
switched on to Steph.
Kevin Love actually looked a little better too doing it.
Because like when Steph shot that ball,
and Steph was athletic then too.
He rushed it.
He did rush it.
He put him out on the second.
It was not like a fluid. Like his first shot, I actually liked his first shot. I went in and out. They got the offensive rebound, but the first shot it looked a lot more in rhythm. But the second shot, he was just like freaking praying that he gets a shot off. And like he's like, I'm taking the shot.
He bailed AD out. He could have got a pick on that. But
exactly, he could have he could have got a better shot.
And Draymond, oh my God, Draymond could have literally went over Schroeder and went up by 1. He didn't even look at the rim, which is insane.
The ball out of bounds.
Per usual, Sean. When does he not do that? It's very rare. Except when he did that little behind the back move and did his little finger roll, which was a very nice move, and that was kind of clean. It's probably the cleanest Draymond move I've seen in years. This team, they're
going
crumbling.
it's tough sledding, and it's going to be some conversations. Steph, we know is going to be a staple, but I don't know what you're going to do after that. Like Draymond, Clay, and Jordan.
Did you guys see how, if you're a former Laker, if they win a ring, they could give it to former Lakers. So anyone who got traded.
Pat Bev.
Man, stop it. Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook. They were the reason they were winning. I just think of that. I'm like, Russell
the
Westbrook.
Anderson Varejao effect?
What are you talking about?
I bet they get a ring, though, if they somehow win.
That is insane.
And I bet they'll take it, too.
Especially Russ.
They wanted it. Russ like, I want my ring. For what? For what? Legit, they traded you, and they went from the 13th seed.
Just off of pride alone.
to making the conference finals, pretty much.
Dude, legit, the minute they got rid of them, it was a different team. It was, and it wasn't a talent ad. Like, you can make an argument, like, Russell Westbrook's talent, like, they lost talent. But the role players just fit better around AD. Man. Like, the fit was perfect.
Chemistry.
They were defensive players, focused players. They knew their role. They're better shooters. Like, oh my God, I saw that. I'm like, yo, stop it. If I'm the Lakers over, man, fuck you.
Zoo had to find some way, Sean.
Fuck you, Russ.
Damn.
Zoo had to
find. Man, you're the Chicago Bulls, man. You don't deserve a ring, man. We missed the play-in tournament. Get the hell out of here.
That's what it's really about right there. Them getting the ring.
You needed to find two ways right there, Sean. You needed to bring up Russell Westbrook's, and you needed to bring up the Bulls, and that was his only way to silo that in, man.
Man, we can make it in, man. Get out of here.
No, I'm with you. That's crazy. But I'm saying if it does happen, they probably will take the rings. They probably will.
Anderson Varejao did.
Jesus
Christ.
You're lucky.
But I mean, some people have no shame. I mean, and there's going to be someone. There's probably someone who watches this is arguing the fact that they, was a part of the efforts. I don't know.
If it was us in their shoes, I think we'd all take it too. And Zoo, don't let your pride get in the way. You'd take that.
Yeah, I probably would.
Take it, but I don't know if I'd say anything.
You know how they make fun of certain rings are fake, man?
Do it on the low.
They ain't real ring, man. It's zirconia, man. It's a fake ring, man.
DeMarcus Cousins said he took the ring from 2020 with the Lakers.
Of course he is, man. Now, you know what karma got him? Now he's in fucking China, man. He's out of the league. He's out. He's doing a podcast talking about how Jokic don't deserve 3-time MVP. Stop it, Boogie. Jokic owns you. Jokic is your daddy, man. You wish you were as good as Jokic.
Well, speaking of who won't be in China or who's not playing it or playing their way into China is D-Book and Kevin Durant. They have tied the series back up, which is
ridiculous.
It's a testament to their ability to score. It's a testament to their, just
carrying ability
fight within the team. Yeah, they just have a lot of fight. And, I was saying before the series, or, when it was 2-0, like, they got to at least get to 40. We need it. Because there's no other way they're going to win this series unless they're going berserk on the offensive end. Now, I will say the bench that I will give Monty slight credit. Like, he's playing different people off the bench. Has got the ability to score. But
took him a while.
D-Book has definitely asserted himself in this series, and his shooting ability is getting to the point where, nobody will ever be Steph, Clay, Reggie Miller, but he's getting in that, tier below of efficient score, especially at the 2-guard position that we've ever seen in the game. Like, he's getting on that level, and now he's going to freaking shoot 75. He's not shooting that for the next however many games they're left in the playoffs. He's not going to do that. And if he does, then we're going to start having real different conversations about Devin Booker if he stays at that level of shooting percentage. But he's going to have a regression to the mean. And long story short, I do think that's going to happen in this series. I don't think they're going to be able to push it
maintain this output. Because Devin Booker historically, like, those last 2 games, 14 for 18, shot 78% from the field, and then he shot 80%, 20 for 25. And majority of his shots are not dunks. They're freaking jump shots. Mid-range jump shots,
range at that.
3-pointers.
Yep.
And I remember there's 1-3, he got the ball, pull up 2 guys in front of him. He said, fuck you. I'm just better than you. Like, Devin Booker's performance in this playoffs is Jordan-esque, man. They brought up a stat based on his efficiency and volume. He's putting up 36 a game. His last time it was MJ in like the 90s. Like, that's what he's doing right now. Like, obviously, in his first series, he put up 37, 6, and 5. And against the Suns team, 36, 9, and 6. And with Chris Paul injured, he has to be the primary playmaker, man. So not only does he have to get buckets, he has to create shots for his teammates right now with CP3 out. Because you know my thoughts about campaign, man. That brother's lucky to be in the league, man. The brother should be in China, man.
Very lucky.
Sit the sauce looking dude, man, bricking 3-pointers, man. Because Jesus Christ, he cannot be a point guard. So Devin Booker right now as a playmaker and a scorer, man, he's outplaying Kevin Durant. Well, I think he's one of the best players in the world. But Devin Booker right now is outplaying Kevin Durant, and it's not even close. He's the alpha. He's the dog. He gets
he's like the leader of the team. Yeah,
it's his team.
Fast breaks, pulls up, man.
But Durant
pulls
knows
up
it.
on people.
Yeah. Durant's knowing his role right now, and I think that's we know what he can do, and he can still give you 35 on what he dropped 36 on 19 field goal attempts. I mean, 11 to 19. That's still a fantastic game. That's way above average, even for Kevin Durant standards. He's there for the threat, but I do got to shout out to, what a big game in game format, Landry Shamet, man, 19 off the bench. That's what they need. All they need 35 plus.
He was wide open a lot. Yeah.
They need 35 plus from both of their stars, their cornerstone guys. And I think, I don't know if it's an elephant in the room, but who hasn't played in their 2 losses or in their 2 wins, man, is Chris Paul. And I'm not saying that he's, holding them back, because campaign obviously is no stud as your starting point guard.
I'm shocked he's in the NBA.
But I think it's maybe, I don't know what it is about Chris Paul. Maybe it's the flow of offense. It's the pacing.
They're playing a lot faster. One thing campaign is, he's a better athlete than Chris Paul at this age.
He's younger.
He runs faster and gets the ball up faster.
Exactly. And to your point, Sue, I'm not saying that the Suns are bad offensively, because we know, but you could argue the same thing about the Heat with using Kevin Love in outlet passes. They need fast break points to stay ahead of a team that is clearly more talented than the Denver Nuggets. Jokic put up 53 and 11, and you see his rant on the bench. He's like, there's 2 of them. That's it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is shut down one of them, hold them to under 25, and you're going to win every single game.
You're going to win.
You're going to win every single game.
In the 2 losses that happened, it took Booker dropping 40 plus and KD dropping 30 plus.
Yeah.
And those were competitive games. So it took them averaging 70 to 80 points at home to beat this team. But I got to shout out. Yeah, you mentioned Jokic's 53 points, 11 assists on 67% shooting.
That's ridiculous.
It is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my entire life. Jokic is the best center in the NBA. I'm close. I'm saying Jokic is the best player in the NBA, man.
All right, guys. Right.
I'm a guy that
I'm still taking Giannis because there's 2 sides to the ball, bro. You guys get caught up in offense. He's a negative on defense, bro. He's a net negative on defense. It matters.
You can say that he's a negative on defense, but I can say that Giannis can't freaking shoot free throws and can't shoot threes and has.
Giannis has got a ring for playing both sides of the ball. You can't do that, bro. He got hurt and he just lost to Jimmy Butler. I almost might want Jimmy Butler over Jokic, bro.
Stop it.
Because he's gonna give it on both sides of the ball.
Stop it.
And he's been to a finals. It took LeBron 6 games, bro. We gotta start giving people respect, bro. Jokic, get out of this series before I start crowning you. No. Stuff.
If you see Jokic, when this dude's in
he's
the
a
game,
crazy
you know what
offensive
happens?
skill. I know that.
Dude, you know what his plus minus is, man? Every game that he's in, he has a positive plus minus. So the reason why they lose is when Jokic goes to the bench, they get absolute smacked. Like, you can only control where you're on the court, and the dude's playing 39 minutes. He's playing 39 minutes, so they got outscored by 5. Jokic was a +2.
MPJ needs to do more, man.
Jokic was a +2. So the minute he goes to the bench, they get outscored by 7. And the same game with the other game. Like, the dude's plus minus in the playoffs, like, if he's on the court, they're winning. So you can't play 48 minutes because that's just like no players can play 48 minutes.
No, that's especially for a big guy.
So it's only so much he can do. So he's not the greatest defender, but based on the scheme that Mike Malone has put on defense to hide Jokic, he is not hurting them on the defensive end. It's when he leaves the court and Aaron Gordon is your center. Like as much as
did they get Thomas Bryant?
They don't use Thomas Bryant at all.
I'm about to say they got Thomas Bryant. I don't know why they don't at least try to do something with him.
Yeah, Mike.
But you know what that sounds similar to? You're talking about exactly like LeBron.
It's very similar.
Exactly like LeBron.
Because his plus minus, like when he's on the court, they're freaking winning, and that's what Kevin Durant and Devin Booker dropping virtuoso performances. So It's so much Jokic could do. Like that shot where he got fouled by D-Book, it hit that awkward jump. I was like, stop it, Jokic. Stop it. Like, there's only so much to do. What else could he have done? I don't know.
Listen, nobody's disputing his offensive game. But listen, there's, as we see in the playoffs, and as we're even seeing in the Lakers and Warriors series, as much as we want to see, I think we all, and I do too. I like when I see Jokic scoring 50, when I see Harden go for 45, I love it because it's offensive game. But we all know how this ends. If you can't get it done on the defensive end, it does not matter. You got to have some semblance of it. And if you look at all of our past champions, even with the Warriors last year, like people forget, like there were people, even though Steph was going to win the MVP last year, there were people trying to make arguments for Andrew Wiggins. Why? Because he was D'ing up and he was scoring. And like that matters. And I feel like you gotta have that semblance of that you gotta have that semblance of the game. That's what I think is important. Like now everybody doesn't think that's important. And for me, I love Jokic doing all this. But to me, one reason why I love
is not hurting the team though. That's the thing.
Well, it's not hurting the team, but it's not propelling the team either. That's like you can't just be like as the series goes further and further down, you can't just say, well, he's not hurting the team. Well, he's not helping either. And then I think when it gets further in the series, when it gets further down,
he has been dominant on the defensive rebounding end with DeAndre Ayton. Like
defensive rebounding,
and some possession.
Defensive rebounding. You get defensive rebounds as a 7-footer. Like, that comes with the territory. I'm talking about effect. Is he like? For example, this is what I talk about.
Because he was dropping 53 and 11, man. He's got
averaging
14 rebounds this series.
Yeah, he's 7 foot. That's what you're supposed to do at 7 foot. I'm not giving you kudos for getting rebounds at 7 foot. I'm not doing it.
Tell that to DeAndre. No. Tell that to DeAndre.
I'm giving you defensive offensive rebounding maybe, but defensive rebounding, I'm giving you credit for being 7 foot and getting rebounds. That's what you get paid to do. You're a max guy.
No. Tell that to DeAndre.
I mean, Dirk never averaged.
Well, we know he's a different case.
For a guy,
Dirk was a different skill set though. He wasn't banging out.
He's more Jokic.
Jokic is more on offense. He's the point center. So his ability to create for his teammates and dominate the ball.
You guys know I like Jokic. He's explosive. I'm not a Jokic guy. Like he's a great offensive guy. But it's just like I would rather have AD if he's healthy. I'd rather have him.
No.
He's better on the offensive end.
No.
Let me ask you a question. You think if Jokic was with and I think this would happen. You think if Jokic was with LeBron, they'd be beating Golden State right now?
Yes.
No, they wouldn't.
Absolutely.
No, they wouldn't. I think Steph would put him in that pick and roll that they did last night, and he would eat Jokic alive and win that game. How much you want to bet?
Absolutely.
But I also
do you think Jokic could have guarded Steph Curry on that 3-point line, Zoo? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Because if he can't guard Jokic right there, it's 2-2 right now.
But Sean, he's doubling AD in points almost every single night. I mean,
I'm not talking about. You guys keep talking about offense. I know.
Offense is more important than defense, man.
If you're playing Golden State and they can match you offensively, you gotta have somebody that can stop. That can literally what AD did last night is the perfect. You cannot refute what AD did last night. Switching on Steph Curry and stopping him twice. If that's Jokic, the series is 2-2. You cannot refute that.
You know what? It was a whooping ass because instead of AD dropping 40, Jokic would have been jumping 40, and they would put the game.
They would put Jokic in pick and roll. Steph Curry would put Jokic in pick and roll and have a field day.
He would. You're right.
He would have a field day, and he would probably throw Jokic out.
Jokic played against the Warriors last year. He averaged.
I'm saying he would destroy Draymond, and he would destroy the other guys. I'm not disputing that.
He played them last year with a bunch of Frank Campazzos and Austin Rivers. Like that's his backcourt.
Bruce Brown.
And he was put up.
I love Jokic, and I'm not a Jokic hater, but bro, it's two sides to the game, bro. It's two sides to the game.
Anthony Davis, I love AD. I think he's an unbelievable talent.
He's a more complete player than Jokic on both sides of the ball. He is.
I get he battles defense a little more than me, though.
Okay, but he's not a better passer, but he blocks shots better than Jokic. He alters shots better than Jokic. He's a better defensive presence than Jokic. He has everything he can do on the offensive end like Jokic. No, I think if you switch,
he can't shoot threes.
Yes, he does.
He cannot shoot like Jokic.
He's not shooting threes no more, but he can shoot threes. He's not doing it no more.
What are you talking about?
Jokic is a better offensive player slightly, but Davis is a way better player defensively.
No, not.
Yeah, I do think it's slightly.
No.
AD was literally averaging when he was healthy 56 and 20 early in the season. Did you guys not see that?
Dude,
he was literally averaging for a stretch 56, 43, 56.
Against Draymond.
He's just been hurt. That's why he can't get it. He's not consistently been there because he's been hurt.
Exactly. and that's why.
That's it. I've always prefaced it by health. If you go health, go AD.
He's been healthy this year. He's played every game in the playoffs, and he has these games where he drops.
You can't dispute the health. If you want to do health, you guys got me. No, but if they're both healthy, give me AD. And AD has a freaking championship. What are we talking about? He's got a championship. You're talking about a guy that doesn't have a championship. Why? No. You guys give so much praise to guys who haven't won. I don't get it.
Are you gonna let me talk?
No, because it don't make sense. Go ahead.
And when Anthony Davis is out, okay, he's not playing, but he has played every game this season in the playoffs. He has 30-point games, and then he would give a 12-point game. He get a 28-point game. He's healthy. He is very inconsistent on the offensive end. On a Golden State Warriors team,
but he can get away with
Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, relatively smaller players, and he should be able to dominate against these guys. So, and against the Memphis Grizzlies,
on what side of the ball?
Steven Adams or Brandon Clark. So he's playing against smaller players.
I'm asking on what side of the ball. I'm cutting you off. On what side of the ball should Anthony Davis be more dominant?
Offensive domination, he should have been more elite on the offensive end of things.
Absolutely.
And you cannot
blame switch to the other side.
No, I'm talking about offensive. You cannot blame injuries.
You don't want to make that argument because it'll kill your argument. Go ahead.
No, there is no argument on either side. You guys are both being dumbasses.
He was healthy this season in the playoffs. He has played every
Nobody's
game.
considered. Listen, we can end it on that, but we can end it because it's just gonna go. We're gonna go on a merry-go-round. But I'm just saying, AD gets disrespected for a guy who has a ring and literally showed up in the freaking finals. I don't understand it. Like, I love Jokic, but he gets a lot of. He's an analytic darling. I need him to get to the finals and do a lot of stuff before giving him all this praise. Be clear him. What do you mean? What do you mean? What? Dude, listen. What did he have? What did he have in the bubble when they played?
What?
What they have in the bubble? Did he not have his full team then?
Yeah, he played against
LeBron. What happened?
In his prime. LeBron was unreal in the bubble.
AD was unreal that series.
Yeah,
he was.
And he had a game winner in that series.
Yeah, he did. Jokic was unreal.
I'm just saying there needs to be more respect put on AD. We all know he gets hurt, but like, dude, healthy, he's right there with them, bro. Healthy.
No. Jokic is the MVP caliber player. Anthony Davis is right below.
I agree.
That's my point.
Right now.
Okay. Jokic is the MVP caliber player. Anthony Davis.
Hey, you gonna have to go. Listen.
Still unbelievable player, but he's right below.
So if he's that guy, he needs to get out of this series. And I don't want to hear it because KD and Kevin and Devin Booker are just that good. I don't want to hear that. If you're speaking MVP, get out of this series.
Hey, Sean,
he's an MVP caliber player too. So that's all.
Can I get a word in?
AD has proven that he's got out of the series and won a championship. What are we talking about? You keep giving LeBron. I understand LeBron's a pantheon, but AD held his own. He held his own.
Let me get a word in.
That's what I don't get. Like it's either like you can't. I don't know. Like I said, AD can't win. I just hate the slander because a lot of it's because he can't stay healthy. Which I'm not arguing. I'm just saying when he's healthy, he's the most complete big man.
Like no, I'd say
literally,
Giannis is more.
He's like Giannis.
Giannis is more.
And guess what? This is what's hilarious. I'll end it here. You know what's hilarious about that? You say he's like Giannis. What do both of them have in common that Jokic doesn't? A ring.
I mean, all right, that doesn't matter because you want to know why?
That ring argument, man.
What do you think? So the ring argument doesn't matter now because Jokic is just what everybody likes.
No, if Jokic played with LeBron, he would have a ring.
Let me get one thing in.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Thank you. Fucking A, fellas. Jesus Christ. All right.
I just get tired of the Jokic shit. Like, he needs to freaking start getting to finals.
Okay,
he needs to get there.
No, but here, I'm not talking about that.
Go ahead.
Shit about that because, yes, Giannis deserved his finals. AD had a huge fucking finals in that series. He averaged 25 and 11 on 57% shooting. He's also playing with one of the greatest NBA players of all time, which Jokic is.
Everybody needs help.
Top 5 consensus.
Everybody needs help.
But there's help levels of Jamal Murray versus LeBron James in 2020, especially.
You know what's hilarious? Nobody said that with KD. We could do that with KD and freaking Steph Curry. That whole championship. Nobody was saying that when LeBron was getting boat raced by them. They just said, well, we all just got the same amount of help. We all got the same amount of people. You had Dwayne Wade, which we all know Kevin Durant and freaking Steph Curry, when they joined, they were all way better than LeBron. So, no, we don't want to hear that. We all get help.
I don't care
and he's got two great guys, and MPJ and Jamal.
And that's why I'm not taking anything away from Anthony Davis's championship. But what I'm saying is that Jokic, what he can do, he can't guard Durant and he can't guard Booker. I don't think that AD could guard either one of those guys for a full game. Sure, he can play one great possession and charge a great shot. That's fine. That's a huge thing to have in a big moment. But he can't do it consistently, so not as much as maybe a Giannis could, which is why I think Giannis is a better defender than AD is. But at the same time, Jokic, what he's done, and I'm not saying DeAndre Ayton's that great, but the man is putting up like 8 points a game.
He's not good.
And he's not good. Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
played
they are.
better in the
He
past.
is.
And I'm not.
And I was in
He's
his.
a
And I was trying to
max
defend
guy,
Andre
but
Ayton, but he's
look
not
like a
good.
bench warmer. That's what
Listen.
Jokic make him look like.
I'm not shitting.
He's
I'm
gonna
not
win.
shitting on Jokic. I'm not saying he's a bad
I
player,
never
and that's
said
what it
you
seems
were.
like.
I never
I'm
said you
just
were.
saying
I just
it's
said
not
Jokic
a gulf
is better
between
than
Jokic and
AD.
AD. It's not. Yeah, okay, you can say he's better, but it ain't a gulf. And people talk like it's a gulf,
No,
and I
it's
don't like
not.
how people talk about like it's a
No,
gulf.
I
It's
never
not.
said it was
It's
a gulf.
this.
I said MVP caliber, and then AD's right below.
And you want to know what the difference is, Sean? Yes, I think it is a little bit of the scoring because I do give Jokic the up on his
People are
jump
just
shot
enamored with
ability.
scoring more.
AD's really good at pick and pop. Jokic is really good at just shooting tough shots. I think he's kind of like Dirk in that situation where you can just kind of give him the ball and he'll hit a fadeaway and you just have no chance of blocking it. AD's a much better defender at a higher caliber. We all know that. But I will say that Jokic is huge when it comes to playmaking. And I'm not saying AD can't pass the ball, but you can give Jokic the ball and bring it up. Imagine if
He's a
got that with
better
LeBron.
offensive
Imagine
player.
if he
He's
had
a
that
better
with,
offensive player.
Imagine if he had that with LeBron, dude.
God.
That would be ridiculous. Now, would they mesh? Maybe not. Maybe they wouldn't. But if you're taking talent, I don't know. I mean, I just think Jokic.
I mean,
Jokic
Braun meshes
can't
with a
get his
lot of players,
guys.
but I think it still would be tough because
They need
Jokic is
MPJ.
just
They need MPJ.
Problem is, MPJ is getting paid like a max player, but he's performing like a role player.
Jordan Poole.
I would
a little bit
go
better.
that far. Jordan Poole is
like
putting
that,
up donuts, but MPJ is 6'10", but he can't drive.
No.
He's a rat.
Shoot guy. He's a catch and shoot guy.
Ryan
like
Anderson.
solely. Yeah, that's his role in the offense pretty much. Like he's improved his defense a little. He used to be a bum.
More athletic Ryan Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, he improved his rebounding, so he's improving on that end. But he's a catch and shoot guy. Like he's a role player. He's a really expensive role player. So outside of Jamal Murray, who's balling out, he's having an unbelievable series.
He's a legit number 2.
Yeah, Jokic, obviously number 1 option. Jamal as a number 2 option. But then like the guys like Aaron Gordon, a slasher, like the dude, you can't respect the dude's jump shot. He's a straight up slasher. MPJ's just jacks open threes. So like the rest of the roster is all dependent on Jokic's ability to create for these guys. So his value has been unbelievable, and he's having an all-time series, an absolute all-time series.
Good for Jokic. I hope he figures it out this series and wins it because it will be devastating if he doesn't figure out how to get out of the series. And going against Booker, conversely, Booker and Durant, they had to score their basically 40 to get to 2-2. So we're going to see how it all unfolds. I'm hoping it goes 7 because I think that'll be a legendary game for both teams. And I won't say it's legacy games because a lot of those guys, I mean, it would be nice for Booker to maybe get to the next round, but we'll see how that all plays out if it does get to Game 7. I think they're in, Denver tonight? So we'll see Jokic and MPJ. Hopefully he gets it going, and Jamal Murray, goes off his pick and rolls and makes his mid-range. So, like I said, you guys listening, it does get contested when we're talking about Jokic and AD. Those hills we're going to die on. We're gonna definitely die on those hills. But as you can see, all this content and more will be on bullheaded_pod on Instagram, YouTube. I'm definitely trying to get the shorts up in terms of all the content that I put on Instagram. I'm putting it on YouTube. Make sure you guys are tuning into that. TikTok, bullheaded864. I do a little bit more different edits on TikTok because it gives me a little bit more freedom to do more. So you guys make sure you follow that. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we are